one of the marks of a really good team is you win on the road, and you don't look that great. For the first time, I think, in 10 years, I can say the Dallas Cowboys went on the road against an elite operation and won a football game, and they weren't terribly buttoned up. 12 penalties on the road, terrible on third down on the road, 2 red zone turnovers on the road, and Dallas won. 10 years. I went back, I thought, teams struggle at home to win when you give the ball and points up twice, 12 penalties. My only question with Dallas now, everything's been answered. My only question is, playoff games tend to be close. Can this team with Mike McCarthy as a head coach win a close playoff game over, by the way, Sean McVay or, like Kyler Murray, Pete Carroll? There's some pretty good coaches here. Mike McCarthy was not good in math. He and clock management are not allies. He is now a major liability. I went back this morning, and the staff found an article from 2017, 4 years ago in Green Bay, and they were asking the same questions about Mike McCarthy, end of the half, end of the game clock management. Folks, it's one thing if we all make mistakes, but when you make the same mistakes over and over and over, those aren't mistakes. They're deficiencies. If you're clumsy socially, and that's really your drawback 10 times in 10 years, maybe you're just not good socially. Marry somebody who is. Like, this is an issue here. He mangles the clock. He's 0 for 3 on challenges. He is bad situationally. By the way, what does he do? Kellen Moore and Dak clearly run the offense. That's Dak and Kellen Moore. Stephen Jones, give him credit here, runs personnel. Did a great job last couple of years. Dan Quinn runs the defense. Bones runs the special teams. So I'm asking you, what's Mike do? What's he do? Every head coach in this league has a specialty. Mike Tomlin, defense, personnel, and motivation. There's a reason they hit on so many great linebackers. Mike Tomlin's got his eye on that film. Sean McVay, offensive wizardry. Kyle Shanahan, Andy Reid, play design. Sean Payton, play calling. Like John Harbaugh was a special teams legend. Every coach has a thing. What's Mike McCarthy's thing? Because I don't get it and I don't see it. And this is what's concerning. And I say this a lot. When you change jobs, it is not just what you bring to the table. The place you left, how are they doing? It's why for years I have defended Jim Harbaugh at Michigan. Stanford football is not quite as good. 49ers, when he left, were a mess. He left and there was a wake. So since Mike McCarthy has left Aaron Rodgers, I went and looked it up this morning. Aaron Rodgers is 31-7 with back-to-back trips to the NFC Championship. So Aaron Rodgers is now winning 82% of his games. The previous 3 years when Aaron was with Mike McCarthy, they were 21-22. Oh, that's a problem. So when I watched Dallas last night, yes, they had a little bit of a leak on the back end of their defense. Yes, they had 12 penalties. Yes, they had turnovers. They won on the road. When's the last time in 10 years? You put those ingredients down, and that cake ends up unedible for the previous 10 years. Dak Prescott, by the way, just keeps getting better. Boy, is he a great example of be patient. Fans love blowout wins, but when you can go on the road, penalties, turnovers, and you win, those are the ones you feel great about. McCarthy, that would scare me. All right, the other game that needs to be discussed to start our show is the Arizona Cardinals going to Cleveland and destroying Baker Mayfield and the Browns. And I try to be fair and stuff, but I said this, Joy was witnessing this, I said this 2 weeks ago. I said the next 8 weeks will determine Baker Mayfield's future because he's going to not play just quarterbacks, but contemporaries. He's going to face Justin Herbert and Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson and Mac Jones, young quarterbacks. And the GM's going to sit upstairs and watch them side by side and go, that guy's going to get $35 million. What do I pay my guy? So now, this year, Cleveland, with the second best roster in the NFL, I don't want to hear about injuries, okay? That's called the NFL. They are 0 for 3 against the best quarterbacks they faced and the best teams. Couldn't beat Herbert, couldn't beat Mahomes, couldn't beat Kyler Murray. And if you watch that game yesterday, the gap between Kyler Murray's talent and Baker Mayfield's is enormous. It's not even close. So I don't want to hear about injuries. Let's start with that. Well, the offensive line's banged up. Oh, so you only have 3 elite offensive linemen, not 5, like every other quarterback. Well, I mean, we were missing Nick Chubb. Oh, so you only had 1 running back who was excellent going into the game. That's called the league. I don't want to hear about injuries. Lamar Jackson, the Ravens have the most players in the league on the injury list. They blew out the Chargers. Kyler Murray didn't have his head coach. They went on the road, blew out Cleveland. Derek Carr didn't have his head coach. He just got fired / resigned, whatever you want to call Gruden's ouster. They're on the road, divisional rivals. Derek Carr was brilliant. Derek Carr was unbelievable yesterday. I don't want to hear about excuses. We say this all the time. Being a quarterback in the NFL is not about comfort. Jared Goff is great when he's comfortable. The NFL is about discomfort. We always said about Lamar Jackson, can he come from behind? I know he's going to lead a bunch of games. But to win a Super Bowl, you got to prove you can play from behind. Oh, now Lamar can. Baker Mayfield's wonderful with a lead and the number 1 rated O-line and 2 great running backs. And, oh, now Jarvis Landry's out. Yeah, because nobody ever has all their components at wide receiver. And, yeah, you're missing a tackle or 2 and a running back. And, yeah, that's called the National Football League. Can you play from behind? Can you play on a bad shoulder? Can you play without your top running back? So Baker's fine when the world is comfortable. You don't get the bag. You don't get 40 large. I mean, look at Dak Prescott, who we just discussed. I mean, he had to deal with Zeke's holdout, the anthem controversy, a meddling owner, an old offensive line falling apart, the erosion at one point for 2 years of Zeke. I mean, he's had so many things, not to mention Dallas Cowboy quarterback. There's 30 interview requests a day. It's a hard job. And Dak just gets better and better and better and more dependable. I'm telling you right now, I've been saying this is not about me being right. I've always said it's about getting it right. Baker's a franchise quarterback. But you can all admit now, right? It all has to be perfect. The lead, everybody's healthy. Once you put him against contemporaries, his age, couple injuries, he's average. He's not a number 1 pick. Got to take a shot at the league. Got to be the funny guy. Got to be the snarky guy. Baker, if you take away that Hail Mary, which we all acknowledge is pure luck, that game could have easily been 37-7. I don't want to hear about we're not playing our best. You were destroyed at home. Can't pay, destroyed at home against the head coach who wasn't there for the team that crushed you.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.